Everybody, welcome back. Doing a kind of follow-up to that Dark Dimension 4 plan for it. Kind of also introduction to Dr. Doom from Dark Dimension 4. Saying make sure you to think about it, walking through the potential roles, thinking about all that kind of thing. The intent of that video is to kind of get everyone thinking about, what kind of characters you'd want to be using. How are these guys going to be built up? What type of roles we're going to be used in Dark Dimension 4. And then today, our friends over at msf.gg did some crazy finds. I don't know actually how crazy it is. Might have been super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oops, is that I don't think it's copyright. Anyway, they went digging down into some files and holy gear grind. We're going to talk about that a little bit, do some math for it, show you how many SBCs I've got after finishing Dark Dimension 3 twice and farming SBCs non-stop until I got this mutant gear grind. Okay, and I haven't gone crazy, building up characters, but I built a few. So we're gonna look at that, show you how many I've got, and translate that into how many characters I could actually bring up to the Dark Dimension 4 level. With all of that effort. All right, so let's go check it out.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, for those who are not familiar with msf.gg, I've gone to Black Bolt here. You've got your massive character screen. I've scrolled down, I click on Black Bolt. I go to character gear and stats. And then within here you can kind of play around whatever. So you want to go down to exactly the gear tier you want. So if you're jumping to get through gear tier 12 to get to gear tier 13, this is what you're looking at. So you come down here, and the graphics are a little bit messed up right now. They've got a bunch of question marks, but if you highlight over them, you can find the ones you're looking for. So if you highlight over this one here, you can see Black Bolt needs 240 superior basic catalyst parts. Okay, we're gonna go put that in a spreadsheet in a second, but I just wanna kind of show you. 240, jump up to get through that next gear tier 13, and then you're talking about, what is it, 600? Yeah, 600 for the next one. And then let's do the next one where it's getting through gear tier 14, which basically makes you gear tier 15. This is the new one. You're talking about 1200, okay? So again, 1200, 600, 240, okay? So let's look at a spreadsheet real quick on this, all right? Okay, so like I mentioned, I put the exact SBC totals in here. I wanted to show an increase based on the different levels, how many more you need compared to the other one. So, if you're looking at gear tier 14, it's, over double what you needed for gear tier 13. It's exactly double what you needed to get to 15. So you need a lot, okay? And this is, so it's 2,040 gear SBCs for just Black Bolt. I did a few other tunes, let's look at those. Decided to pick on Emma. She's one of the new characters coming to the game that I think a lot of people are gonna try to get. Figured check out her SBCs. So she's 360, a little bit higher than Black Bolt. Then if you look at the next tier, 780. All right, so it's, again, a little bit more. And then to get through 14, it's 1440, which is also higher than Black Bolt. And just in case, you can see that's why it's to get through that. You don't have to go to gear tier 15, just so you understand the website. The next character that I went to, I believe, was Thanos. So let's go to him. And again, you're at 12, so it's like 240. You guys are getting the idea here, right? You're seeing the numbers. 780, big chunk, 14, and it's 1440. I went to Ebony. I did the same thing for Ebony Maw, Symbiote Spider-Man. So I basically made a team of 5. All right, and the same procedure. I'm just going through here. I'm looking at this. I'm seeing what they've got in here to show. You can see there's nothing in this specific level, but when you're down here, this is showing you how much gear that it appears we're probably going to need. So let's jump back over to the spreadsheet. All right, so now we're looking at the full team. SBC's Black Bolt, 2,000-ish. Emma, 2,500, almost 2,600. Thanos, almost 2,500. Got Ebony Maw, also around the 2,600 mark. And then Symbiote Spider-Man was the other one that I threw in there, and he's about 2,500 as well. So you can see that the percent increases in here, Thanos goes up quite a bit, but that means it's a little less for the gear tier 14, but it's still you know, they're all 1400 across the board, however you look at it. That part isn't too shocking to me. It looks like some are 240, some are 360 as far as what they're required. And then for the gear tier 14, some are 600, some are 780. But at gear tier 15, it looks like some are going to be 1200 and some are going to be 1440. However you shake it, it's pretty much the same, right? And you're looking at anywhere from 12 to 20, or anywhere from 2000 to 2600 SBCs. And this is for per character, right? So then when you sum all these up, you're talking about 5 tunes total. You've got 12,120 SBCs that you need. That's a lot.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So 12. Let's make this big and bold here, so you guys can see this. All right, that's 12,000 SBCs. Right now, there's an offer in game for $20 for 50 SBCs. You'd have to buy that 243 times, assuming you're not farming or getting anything from anywhere else, right? And obviously, we can do that. But that's roughly $4,800 for a team of 5 for just one piece of gear. I'm sorry, not piece of gear. One component of multiple pieces of gear. So you need all those other things and your gold and all that kind of thing. So $5,000, that's a lot, right? So I want to show you guys exactly how much I have at the moment and explain to you what I've already gone through to really, and if you're having a hard, most of you have probably already realized, like, but for those of you who have not, like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. I want to show you how many I've got, how many gear tier 14 characters I have, and what I've done to date, because this seems crazy. Okay, so like I said, right here, I've got 9,560. Not too bad. I could not gear tier 15 from 12 to 15, an entire team, but you know, I've already brought many tunes up to that level, so I'm sitting okay, given that fact, as far as getting a team of 5 into Dark Dimension 4, outside of what other bottleneck they're going to put. There's going to be what I'm calling big uniques into the game, and that's going to be the new bottleneck. So these big uniques are going to be out there, and obviously all your orange gear, clearly SBCs. So now, given I don't really buy these from the gold store. Now that I love this new Blitz store that these are here every time, I'm absolutely getting those every stop, because I had 280,000 Blitz store credits. So I'm picking those things up nonstop. Raid store, typically I buy them, though they're pretty terrible value, but I started buying a little more. You can see I've got about 60,000 raid credits, picking those up pretty often, and then I'm just getting whatever other gear I want. And then you go over here to the Ultimate store. Those are just ABCs. You know, in the War store, I never use anything in here other than for the mini uniques. I don't even farm a character unless I'm at the last like 10 to 20, because I just, or you know, if in the case of like a Sif where you want to get to Black Bolt. So I've been doing this for a long time. Now the other part of this is that what I was doing forever is, let's find a character here that you can go farm some SBCs on. All right, so Captain Marvel here. I'd go here, I'd click find, and until I hit this mutant guy. This mutant gear grind recently, which has only been in the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Every single day I finished these 3. Every single day I farmed them nonstop, because I was like, you know what, I know I'm gonna need these SBCs for something at some point. So farmed these forever. Once I was like, I don't really need to farm any other gear. I probably did this for at least a month or 2. So yeah, so the point of this is that I farmed these SBCs a lot, okay? And I finished Dark Dimension 2, Dark Dimension 3 twice, and I'm at under 10 grand. But it's like, all right, so how many characters have I actually upgraded? So let's go check that out. All right, so I've organized these guys by gear tier, right? So you can see let's see what we got, 5 per row. So 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows. So I've got 21 characters at gear tier 14. That's a lot, all right? And every single one of these, let's see, I'm just making sure. Yeah, every single one of these I used to get through Dark Dimension 3. Now, some of them I probably could have gotten through without. You know, I used Ghost Rider in the first run. I also had Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man. I probably could have done that with 2. You know, he helped a little bit, but, I mean, he died so quickly. On the second run, I brought Merc Lieutenant, and I was bringing Venom, and then I tilted and brought in Mercury Lieutenant, hoping it would be better. I really didn't need to bring him. With the 3 symbiotes, that's really all you need. Okay, and then I brought up, you know, the Black Order because I'm like, okay, these guys are needed for arena. So, you know, am I a little disappointed I did that? I don't know. Everyone else in my arena shards got them there, so it helps me compete. I'd probably be better off if I had more stars, but, you know, Trooper, I didn't need to do him. Fury didn't need to do him. Scientist Supreme, even on the second run, meh. You know, Phoenix, she helped for a while, or she's key, obviously, in Dark Dimension 3. Sinister, Loki, you know, Shuri, she was good for the second run. But anyway, point is, most of these investments were pretty good. Maybe except with the exception of Shield Trooper, who was at the time, I was just trying to get into Dark Dimension. And then after that, looks at what I have gear for Gear Tier 13. So we've got, let's see, 4 in run row. So 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. So 15 plus 7, so 22. I've got 22 Gear Tier 13. It's not too bad. Again, these guys, you know, brought Captain Marvel up early. I got 6 reds on Invisible Woman, so I brought her up. Juggernaut and Pyro, honestly, this was a while ago for Arena. Way while ago. I had 5 on reds on Pyro. I was like, all right. And then I was using Juggernaut for a bit. X-23, I got 6 reds on her, so I'm like, I'm bringing her up. Taskmaster War, Groot back in, this was Dark Dimension 2 days. Same thing with Rocket. Falcon was for Raid for a bit when Techwing was a thing. Graviton I was using for Raid for a bit. Sif, Asgardian, Negasonic was because I was like, okay, X-Force, she needs to be good. Colossus, Yo-Yo, not bad. Thing I probably could have saved. Star-Lord was a Dark Dimension thing. Vision was a long time ago when he was a little bit more relevant. Domino, I wanted to survive. Thor, you know, Dark Shield Security, Dark Dimension, Riot Guard War. So anyway, a lot of these I don't feel bad about for when I did it. You know, again, I look at Groot now, I'm like, would I do that now? No, I wouldn't. But at the time when I was trying to get through Dark Dimension 2, yes, absolutely. And I loved that team. And if I had to go through it again, at that point in time, yeah, I'd do them again. So we got, you know, 22, 21. So, you know, 40, 43 characters in there. That's a lot. And so I'm decently way through there. Now, will I, you know, have characters like Emma Frost who need those full 2,000, 2,600 maybe? You know, there are going to be other characters that come through here that maybe I need to bring up past this Gear Tier 12 mark. You know, maybe Black Widow and her rework, maybe she's worthwhile. I don't know. You know, and then you come all the way down the bottom here, characters I'm not even mess with, you know, Squirrel Girl, Beast. I'm sure there's other characters that are going to come to the game. Maybe Rogue is going to be critical for Dark Dimension 4. I don't know. So this thing is just, holy cow. So point, culmination. Let's culminate. Let's outro this. All right, let's outro. So if you've skipped everything, that was just, you know, giving you some background for basically what I'm going to say right now. If you care about Dark Dimension 4, be insanely smart where you put these SBCs. You just, look, you got to get through the other Dark Dimensions, so make sure you can get to that point, but try to pick characters that you even think are going to bring in a potentially Dark Dimension 4, because you can't handcuff yourself when you're not even through Dark Dimension 3. So be smart about where you put them in Raid and War. You know, don't just bring up every single, I mean, I was about to like Gear Tier 14, a whole bunch of war teams. Now I'm kind of like, need to think about this, So I want to make my defense and offense better in War, but you know what? I'm going to go to Gear Tier 12 for the time being and just kind of see from there. You know, if you get a bunch of reds on someone like I did with X-23, okay, you know what? It's clearly going to be worth it. It wasn't a huge punch up, but I just took my X-Force into Mercs. It was like a 20k punch up, maybe 30k. No adjacent buffs, but easily-ish. I lost nobody. Taskmaster didn't get a turn because X-23 wiped him off the map. So, you know, there might be certain things like that. Yeah, this makes sense. Let's do that. But save those SBCs because you're going to need them. And I'm sure Doctor Doom is going to be an Ultron level character. Hopefully he's got some red stars to come with him or some mechanism to get him, or his kit's going to be so good that reds don't matter. Something, I don't know. But that's what I got to say. So save, be smart, spend extremely wisely. If you've got some questions, come to the Discord. The link's in the description below. Happy to talk about this thing because it is going to be a critical thing to do. All right, so that's all I got. Share it with your alliance mates, grandmas, grandpas. You know, I love to include them. Aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins. Them too. Parents, siblings. Anyway, you get the idea. Hammer down on that like button, subscription bell, notification button. I forget which is a bell and a button. But there's gadgets and widgets and things galore all below. If you want to click those, great. If not, I still hope you Have a wonderful day.